Ghost Hunters International. The team travels to Transylvania to investigate the shadows of Banffy Castle.
What the hell is that? Is that the door shutting?
Sounded like it came from right behind me.
Will the team discover the secrets that lie beneath the castle, or will a seductive spirit foil their assault?
Wait a minute, what's... Brandy? Are you getting this?
What am I seeing?
Then, the team reaches new heights as they investigate Dracula's castle.
Poenari Castle was the site of mass torture, many deaths.
Will the team's new line of attack awaken the Count?
Dracula, I think you were a coward.
Well, Desmond, I'm finally glad that you could make it to Transylvania.
Yeah, man, absolutely. This is one of the hot spots that, everybody in the field wants to get to at these works.
Well, I've never been this far into Transylvania before. We're just outside Cluj-Napoca.
Hey guys, there's something I want to make mention to while we're here in Romania is there have been news stories actually within even the last year of Romanian citizens that have unearthed corpses and taken out their hearts and burned them for fear that they were going to return from the dead as vampires. Also, belief in just the superstition in general is still an integral part of Romanian society.
That's right, yes. Listen, Brandy has quite a case for us here. We're here to investigate Banffy Castle, and she's going to let us know what the details are.
Paranormal activity at Banffy include wandering shadowy figures, strange noises, including disembodied voices. The castle is now actually used as a restoration school for students from all over the world. And many of the students have claimed to have had a lot of personal paranormal experiences.
Oh, this is it. Well, you can't see much from the outside, but I can't wait to get in there and take a look. David. Rob. Nice to meet you.
Very, very good to meet you. Welcome to Banffy Castle. I'm personally looking forward to getting some solid evidence because a lot of the students have told me stories. And I don't disbelieve people, but at the same time, with a little bit of scientific evidence to help that along, or maybe even to completely prove it, would make a huge difference.
And can you tell us about the history of the castle itself?
It belonged to the Banffy family. They have been governors of Transylvania for hundreds of years. The last occupant of the castle was Banffy Miklos. He left the castle in 1944, so all the way through the castle's life, it has had people living here of high noble status, as it were.
And we understand you also have some guests who don't want to leave their noble home.
But I'm hoping that you will help us find out whether we do or whether we don't.
All right, should we head out there now?
Sure. And we're now in the Renaissance courtyard. There are stories that a young boy has been seen walking around here. The basic story is that a young lady, in some way associated with the castle, was having an illicit affair, and she was spotted leaving the castle at some time or other by a young stable boy. The stable boy, I understand, was going to report her for doing this. She got her vengeance. She tried to seduce him, and in the seduction, she killed him. And the story is that he is buried somewhere within the grounds here.
All right, should we head inside?
Sure, yeah, let me take you in.
The students would very often come to us and tell us about their impressions. They mentioned that it was very scary to just go up where the bedrooms are, and they were afraid to go alone. I think that it's possible that Banffy Castle is haunted.
Within the stables here, there were originally 32 horses. These are the drinking troughs for the horses. They're beautifully carved in stone, which is typical of the Baroque period. But I want to show you one that is very different. Let me show you. Behind this board is a room, which we've never been into. It's at the junction of the 16th century tower and the 18th century stables.
Can we get in there and take a look around tonight?
You can get in. This is the only way in. And the only way out.
Okay, terrific. All right, where are we off to next?
The Blue Room. through what was the dining room and then into the blue room. Be careful coming up here.
One at a time, one at a time.
This is the blue room. It's in this room that the students claim to have seen shadows, movement.
When the students are in the courtyard at night and look up at the two windows on the right, closest to the corner of the building, they notice something moving in the windows.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us here and giving us a tour. We're still really excited to get in here and see if we can't provide you and your students some answers.
I look forward to hearing what you're going to come up with.
All right, shall we go?
Let's go through here.
You know, David brings us in and lets us know that his students are a little put off, a little nervous because they keep seeing these black shapes. They're spreading reports of apparitions. But the first thing we're going to do tonight is try and make sure that we can find alternative explanations for this activity, make sure that it's not paranormal, and either way try and give David the message that he can give to his students that is perfectly safe here.
David took us into some of the areas that he restored. It's absolutely amazing. What I do find kind of interesting, though, is that where all of the paranormal activity is happening is the area of the castle that isn't renovated. That's very curious, because usually it's the other way around.
Okay, guys. In the blue room, we have the ultrasonic and the human hearing covered. We also have a camera running up there, which is shining across at the two windows. And we've also got another camera shooting across to the courtyard where the stable boy is seen.
All right, let's get to it. Brandy and I started out in the stables because we had heard the story of a stable boy who was murdered. Figured this would be a good place to have an EVP session and see if we can't find the young man.
Okay.
I'm going to take this side.
Do you want me to go over here?
Yeah. Now, we know there's someone around here that got into a spot of trouble, didn't you? We also know that if you were a stable boy, you were probably pretty young. Probably, what, 10 or 11?
I can't imagine your feelings now towards women, but please know that I'm here only to observe you and to make contact, to prove that you're here. I mean you no further harm.
What the hell is that? Is that the door shutting?
It sounded like it came from right behind me.
Brandy and I came down to the stables to do an EVP session and see if we could make contact with the boy who was murdered.
I can't imagine your feelings now towards women, but please know that I'm here only to observe you and to make contact, to prove that you're here. I mean you no further harm.
What the hell is that? Is that the door shutting?
It sounded like it came from right behind me.
All right. If there is someone in here who is capable of making a noise, or if you made that noise a few moments ago, could you make another noise now? I know for a fact you are not used to having people walking around here in the middle of the night. You have to know something's going on. Now you can see that I brought my teammate, Brandy, here. Now she's sitting over there all by herself. Just for fun, I want you to sneak up right behind her, and I want you to whisper something right in her ear.
So, Dustin, whenever we're during the tour, I seen something that caught my eye, which may have caused the shadows up in these two windows.
Right.
So I'm going to try and reproduce that. But what I need you to do is to angle yourself down this way toward the dormitory, because that's where the guys are seeing the shadows move.
Right.
As long as you've got focus of those two windows.
Okay.
Okay?
Very well.
All right. What I noticed during the tour was that the sun was getting low and my shadow was being cast on the wall. And it brought me back to the shadow being seen moving across. So that's why I'm trying to duplicate the sun itself in two of the windows, see if we can reproduce that.
And just for reference, we're getting some disturbance in the magnetic fields.
Do you have a reading on it? What's it hitting?
Just hear it in the background going off. It's very slightly.
Gotcha.
EMF stands for electromagnetic field, and what we use are devices that measure that field. When we get a high EMF reading and there's no source that we can explain it from, at that point some people believe that you're measuring spirit activity.
Dustin, I'm about to walk past.
Could you tell me, from your perspective,
if you can see a shadow pass by those windows?
All right, I'm standing by. Go ahead. Okay, here we go. I can see a shadow move, mostly being cast on the far wall. But as to seeing a shadow figure walk by, I can't make anything out within the window itself.
And you're able to see that shadow cast from window to window to window?
Correct. Quick question though, Barry. Back in the main window that's over the front door, do you have anybody in that room?
Hold on, just check.
All clear, Dustin.
Yeah, I definitely saw movement in that center room where there is no floor. I thought I saw something go across the top.
Why is there a flashing light up there? As I was standing here, just behind me, there was just this flash of light appeared. Let's just check that. Where's that hole? There's it again. Hold on a second, this isn't. And at the same time, that flash of light that I had caught in the blue room appeared in the room where the floor has fallen away. Guys, I need to check where you guys are right now.
Deep Harry in the courtyard.
Andy at Command Central.
Brendan and Rob in the stables.
Anyone using flashlights in this building?
No.
No. I went in to see what it was and see if there was something there that was causing the light to flash like that, to which there wasn't. There was a flash of light in the blue room.
Yeah, that's the room where I thought I saw movement. That's the one where the floor is not there. I was just doing some checking over here by the tutor room because I heard some weird noises come out of there.
Okay, I think we might need to keep an eye on this one.
Sounds like a plan, brother. Well, I was out here in the courtyard, and I started hearing all these sounds coming off the left wing, which is the Gothic part, the tutor room. So I'm walking closer to investigate that. That's freaking crazy. Yeah, it sounds like a freaking dragon. Well, I was out here in the courtyard. I started hearing all these sounds coming off the tutor room. That's freaking crazy. Yeah, it sounds like a dragon. Hey, Andrews, you know a lot about animals, right?
A little bit. What do you need to know?
Come over to the tutor room, man. Whatever this hissing noise is getting intense.
I'm on my way.
Man, I've never heard anything like that before. All right, so what makes that dragon-like hissing sound?
All right, it sounds like it's coming from right up
From
here.
that corner.
I'm wondering if it's something maybe like an owl.
You would imagine if it was a nest or something, you would find bits and pieces lying down here.
Well, yeah, you'd
sticks
find
and
some
twigs.
owl pellets. Yep, bingo. So there you go.
An owl it is there.
An owl it is.
What we decided to do to investigate the area in which Barry and Dustin both seen activity was for myself and Dustin to come back into this entryway area. I went upstairs where I did an EVP session. Dustin stayed down here with the handy cam. All right, this is Dustin and Rob in the main entryway. We know that people tonight have seen something walking around in here. I certainly would enjoy the opportunity to see the same thing. Is there any way that anyone present could walk towards me at this point?
We know you're capable of it. Just give us another sign to show us that you're here.
We heard the story of a boy who was murdered. Do you know who that boy was? Is that boy still here? Do you hear that behind you, Dustin?
Yeah.
It was near the entranceway.
At that point, both Dustin and I heard a sound coming from the entranceway itself. I happened to be looking in that general direction. I didn't see anything, but both Dustin and I definitely heard that sound coming from the entranceway.
Were you able to see anything, or you just heard it?
No, I heard a distinct noise right by the entryway.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that there was no one there.
Tonight we've almost got a full moon here in Transylvania, and it's shining directly onto the front facade of the property. What I was intending to do out here was using the full spectrum. I was also utilizing the standard camera that we use as well, and utilizing the moonlight, which is giving a backwash of ultraviolet light from the sun. See if we can catch anything that should appear in the windows which line this front facade. What the hell is that?
Basically on tour, they let us know that when they removed one of these watering troughs, they found that there was a secret room right behind it.
And do we know the stability of the architecture inside?
David couldn't tell us anything.
Okay.
They were doing restoration, they removed one of the water troughs for the horses, and boom, there's this room behind there. It's tight, it's small, no one's been back there before. What do you say we start off with a thermal sweep in here?
That's a good idea.
Okay. Seeing that I had Brandy working with me, I was able to use the thermal imaging camera. It's a tool that usually you want 2 people on. You have the actual camera, and then we have a screen that's attached to it so that you get a better image.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything that would signify any nature temperature change.
I'm gonna sweep around. Wait a minute.
What's that?
Hold on. Let me see if I can move some of these rocks. Wait a minute, what's... Brandy? Are you getting this?
I am. I see definitely a temperature change. What am I seeing?
It's a shaft, it's a tunnel. All right, I want to figure out where that goes. All right, Brandy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, go ahead.
All right, so it continues down. All right, hold on a minute. All right, I'm hung up on something. Wait a minute, I'm gonna take a little extra slack.
Okay. Andy, are you okay?
All right, hold on, I'm still hung up. Shoot. Give me a little slack. All right. It was just really awesome. I don't know if we've necessarily solved the mystery. We've discovered something. We're going to be able to propose some more information to the client. And without that thermal imaging camera, I don't know if I would have found that exit tunnel. It drops down to a basement that runs underneath that whole tower.
Okay.
Hey guys, we're hearing the rooster up here, so let's get going, let's get packed up and head for home.
I think we got some great results with the experiment that we started off with. We really wanted to try to see if we could mimic the shadows, which I think was successful.
Tonight's investigation, I felt on a personal level, went really well. My interest is going to be piqued by the full spectrum still shots that we're taking.
I hope that everyone gets a really good night's rest when we get home, because going through evidence is really going to be tough on this one.
Right,
Brandy, that was Banffy Castle in Transylvania. It's certainly like stepping back 100 years into the past.
It absolutely is.
Okay, well, if you could cover wireless audio for me that was running in the tutor room, I think what I'll do, because I was outside at the time during the investigation, taking still shots with the full spectrum and the standard camera, I want to correlate and see if there's anything that has shown up in those images. Okay. There was something slightly different done at Banffy Castle. I went outside with the standard camera and the full spectrum camera. So I'm wondering what may have showed up. Brandy, have a look at that. It's something I can't explain. I don't know what it is.
I've never seen anything like that before.
It's got what we can't see. That's exactly what I was hoping the full spectrum would do.
Pretty amazing.
I think the guys are going to be really impressed with this one.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
So, we knew this was going to be kind of a tough evidence to go through. How was it?
It was very, very tough. Brandy, if you want to lead into this first one.
Yes, certainly. There was a piece of audio that was found on the mini-DV during you and Dustin, your EVP session together near the Blue Room. It comes in right after you're asking a question.
Is that boy still here? Do you hear that behind you, Dustin? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, and the good thing about that is it was that front doorway, and we knew that you were right outside taking pictures, so were anyone to go in or out, you would have spotted him, and both of us were actually kind of looking over in that direction when the noise came, so I'm glad we actually picked it up.
We actually picked up more than that. Obviously, as you pointed out, I was outside taking shots with full spectrum and the correlating standard camera beside each other. Now, with these particular shots, you will see the standard camera. This is what we can see. You know, I need to emphasize that this camera sees what we see. The corresponding full spectrum camera, you'll see the front of the facade lit up much more considerably because of our IR lights from our DV cameras. However, on the full spectrum camera, we see something else. If you have a look, we can zoom in on this doorway. You will see whatever this thing is come out from the doorway and break the front of the facade as it's leaving.
And it seems to be self-illuminating. Combine that with the fact that Dustin and I heard something in that doorway. That's a pretty good catch. David, how are you? Good to see you again.
It's good to see you both again. I'm waiting with anticipation here to see what you're going to tell me.
Well, we have quite a bit to talk to you about. Big thing being that as soon as we arrived, you were gracious enough to give us a great tour and mentioned that there were two areas that you particularly wanted to see if you could get some answers to.
One of the first things that you had alerted us to is the fact that some of the students at the end of the day would look up at the castle and sometimes see shadows going through two certain windows. We always try to look for a logical explanation first.
Okay.
And the team actually set up an experiment. Barry took some light, lit the back of the castle, and then proceeded to walk past certain windows. And immediately Dustin did notice that it gives you that dark, shadowy silhouette as you go by.
Right.
Now, are we saying that that is what every student saw? Absolutely not.
Right.
But are we saying that we were able to replicate a kind of alternative where someone would see this dark mass but wouldn't be able to see the actual person? Yes, we were able to do that.
So it's a potential explanation, but not the only one, I guess.
Not the only one.
Okay.
The other thing you asked us to look into was the secret room. We were actually using a thermal imaging camera, which will give us a view in heat signatures. All of a sudden, we noticed a cold spot.
Right.
And upon further inspection, we removed some of the rubble, and there's actually a tunnel that leaves, a tunnel that leaves the opposite wall, and it runs right down into the basement, right underneath.
Wonder whether it was a route for potentially moving archives at a time of siege, or moving archives if there were problems direct to the stables in a way.
Which would make much sense,
So we have some personal experiences that we'd like to share with you.
Great.
At this point, we're pretty happy because you came in and said, you know, these are the two things I'm really curious about, and we felt that we came up with some interesting ideas about those. So, Barry and Dustin are doing this experiment with the window. Dustin, who was outside with his handy cam, he actually saw a dark mass moving across those windows. Except those windows are the ones he sees on the second floor right above the main entranceway. And as you know...
There's no floor.
There's no floor. So
you're trying to spook me now.
Unfortunately, this mass that you saw in that window was not captured, so it's a personal experience. It's nothing that we can obviously present as evidence.
Yeah.
And so we went on, we continued to investigate specifically in that area. We actually had myself and Dustin in that center area by the door. We were asking questions. And we want you to actually just watch and take a listen to what happened at that point.
Okay.
Is that boy still here? You hear that behind you, Dustin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear. Like a knock.
So it's certainly surprising to us to get something that immediate, you know, a solid knock after the question was posed. Barry now takes his turn to go outside, taking photographs with 2 different cameras.
From the courtyard?
From the courtyard.
Okay.
They're identical cameras, but one of them sees into the full spectrum.
Okay.
Ultraviolet light, visible light, and infrared. What he's doing is taking pictures at the same time on both cameras so that we're able to compare and contrast the images.
So this is it in parallel?
Correct. The one on the left is with a standard camera. The one on the right is in full spectrum. You can see that it's picking up the infrared light directed towards the stables courtyard from our DVR system.
Right there.
I see it.
As you can see, there's nothing particularly strange in either photograph, and he took a series of these every 3 seconds.
And this would be the next.
And this light? This is the light you've picked up on. Can we zoom in?
There it is. That's a nice shot of it right there.
Yeah. It's quite an intense light.
And if you look at it size-wise in comparison to the door, one of the first things that we said is that almost looks football size. It's a good-sized object.
But it illuminates a significant area. It's not just a ball of light.
Here's what's interesting about this. Neither of these cameras that are going off here are giving off a flash. So whatever that light is, it's self-illuminating. It's giving off its own light. You know, that's fairly bright.
And it would have had to be moving very fast because 3 seconds later, another picture was taken and it was gone.
It was gone. And it didn't reappear.
It never reappeared anywhere in the courtyard.
Right. I'm very surprised. I believe the scientific explanation that there's something strange going on there. Wow.
Yeah, I think that given this light, we feel there is a strange happening here. There is some anomalous stuff that we weren't quite able to explain. But at the same time, for us to take the large step to say this is haunted, you know, we wouldn't be able to go that far based on what we have. But we can definitely say that there was some strange anomalies the evening.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I really enjoyed your company here.
Yeah, and we had a great time. David?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Shall we go?
All right. Whether Banffy Castle is haunted, I still would not be prepared to give a definitive answer. What I would say is that from evidence that's been presented through the GHI team, there are even more unexplained elements here than when we first started.
Well, I think David was very pleased.
We did the job we were brought in for. You know, he asked us to come in, find out about this secret room, and find out what students were seeing up in these 2 windows. We did that.
Yeah, I just can't help but to imagine a lot more students hanging out on the patio at night, drinking coffee, keeping their eye on the castle, you know?
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Brandy has for us next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Robbie D, what's up?
So you know how Brandy kept telling us that we had a
really big case coming up, but you wouldn't tell us what it was? Get ready for this one.
Dustin, I know that you have a profound interest in Dracula. Well, I have Poenari Castle for us to investigate. Poenari Castle was the site of mass torture, many deaths, at which time it was actually owned by Vlad Tepes, the Impaler, or more commonly known as Dracula.
This is one of the stories and legends that first got me interested in the paranormal, so I look forward to being here and doing the research on this later on.
That's it. Obviously, we got to find the stairs and head on up.
Well, this castle's going to be different. We have over 1,400 steps to climb.
All right, so why don't we grab some of the equipment now and head up. If you guys could get the rest of the equipment into bags, and we'll see you at the top.
All right, no problem.
There's definitely a lot of history on this one, huh?
There is.
I mean, certainly doing this case is something that the three of us have talked about for a long time. And now to get the opportunity to actually do the real Dracula's castle.
Yeah.
The movie and all that was based on another castle where Vlad Tepes certainly visited. But as far as the castle that he picked to make his final stand, to make his big defensive hold, to make his main castle is here.
Yeah.
Poenari Castle was the main fortress of Count Vlad Tepes. It's also believed that the horrific story of Vlad's life were the inspiration for the character Count Dracula. Vlad was kept in captivity for several years by the Turkish Empire and tortured using numerous techniques. Vlad would later wage battles against a larger Turkish army, and as an intimidation tactic, he took 20,000 Turkish prisoners, impaled their bodies with large spears, and stuck them in the ground like trees, earning him the nickname Vlad the Impaler. Long walk, but certainly worth it. We made it.
This is unbelievable.
There it is. Hi, I'm Rob.
Hi, Bogdan. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Andy.
Bogdan, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. GHI seems to deal with paranormal from a scientific point of view. And me being rather skeptical, I would like to see a scientific proof. I would be very intrigued to see exactly what they come up with. Welcome to the fortress of Poenari. Let me tell you about the history of the castle a little bit. In the 14th century, when it was built, this square tower was the original building. 50 years later, the famous Vlad the Impaler begins reconstructing the fortress around this tower and made what we like to call an eagle's nest in this beautiful mountain. So quite difficult to come and conquer this fortress. Vlad the Impaler always had problems with the noblemen of the country. Some of them betrayed his father, Vlad Dracula. His father was killed. Vlad knew who actually betrayed his father. So at Easter time, he invited all these people for the Easter feast. And then all they were taken prisoners, brought up here and forced to work during the construction of the fortress. And some of them died during the construction.
So he essentially worked a lot of the nobility to death.
Yeah. So we are here at the square tower, the oldest tower of the fortress, built before Vlad the Impaler actually built the rest of the compound. In that famous siege, when Vlad was kept here with his army, he had his wife with him. And if she would have been taken prisoner by the Turks, she would have ended up in a harem and end up as a slave there. This would have been too great dishonor for her. So she committed suicide. She jumped into the river. It is here if you want to look for her troubled soul. So, guys, the real Dracula castle is yours for the night. Hope you survive it, and you'll enjoy it, and can't wait to see what you discovered, actually.
All right, we're gonna get set up, get our equipment, do a thorough investigation, and we will see you in a couple days and let you know what we found or didn't find.
Can't wait for it.
Bogdan brought us in and said that everyone always comes up to him and says, is this place haunted? Well, GHI, I think, has a big task ahead of them to either prove or disprove and finally give them an answer to that question.
Hey, gents.
All right. Hey. We're going to be doing things a little bit different this evening. We're going to do triangulation. 3 teams, all doing EVP work. 3 points of a triangle. We're going to do real-time analysis after we're done with that to see if we can really focus on where the activity is. Cool. All right, guys, let's grab equipment and get going. You would never be able to use this technique in a huge castle with, 40 rooms and 3 different floors. So for once, we have a small enough location, this kind of top of the mountain eagle's nest, where we can all work together and use this different technique. Barry and Brandy, you guys almost ready to go?
Bob, I'm in position.
I am hitting record.
We're good to go.
All right, we are going to set it off.
EVP session.
Dustin, Rob, in the hallway. Can you come close to us?
Is this tower a tower of joy or pain?
Vlad Dracula, S01E14.
Do you want us to be here?
Does anyone still remain here?
Are you proud of the atrocities that you presented onto the Romanian nation?
How many of you are here?
Was this tower ever lost to the Turkish army?
Are you free to roam, or are you trapped here in this castle?
What is your family name?
EVP session end.
You, myself, and Barry will do evidence review while Andy and Brandy head out to the grounds. Cool.
All right. Brandy and I decided to head on out of the castle and investigate the stairs leading to it. We'd like to talk to you, whoever you may be. Can you give us your name?
Vlad, I understand that as a boy, you were handed over to the Turks by your father, and he did this in order to maintain the throne. You learned some of your torture methods while you were imprisoned by the Turks.
I'd like to talk to the nobleman who built this castle. We want to hear the atrocities that Vlad Tepes committed against you. As we went out there, we started hearing some weird noises off into the woods, kind of some rustling in the trees and whatnot. Can you give us a sign that you're here? Can you make a noise? Could you touch us? Could you make yourself visible?
I heard that.
Okay, you just heard that?
Yeah.
It sounded like it was coming to our left. Can you do a scan with the thermal and see if you can pick up a heat sink?
Checking it out now.
Please try to communicate with us in any way possible. Did you hear that?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not really getting any crazy heat signatures aside from the trees and rocks.
So no animal life?
I'm not even seeing a squirrel. I mean, there's nothing on here.
Let's head on back.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
After we finished the triangulation, we went back. We listened to our recordings of those sessions to see if we can triangulate and find out where we have activity.
Are you proud of the atrocities that you...
I listened to myself and Dustin. There was nothing. Dustin listened to Andy's. Nothing.
Free to roam, or are you trapped here in this castle?
Sounds like we've got some responses on the EVP.
Dustin, did you hear what Barry said? I guess definitely has something on his recording.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
All right. So at this point, I want to get every piece of equipment we have out there, see if we can really find out what's going on here.
Starting EVP session. Barry, Brandy, and Dustin. At the top end of the castle. Vlad the Impaler. S01E14. Dracula. Malamisk. Barry.
Are you the lady of the house? The wife of Vlad Tepes?
We really mean no harm. We're simply trying to understand who you are. Why you are here.
Did you take your own life here?
Is there a phantom army that haunts the mountains surrounding this castle? Before we finish this, is there anything you wish to say?
All right, guys, it's about that time. Let's wrap it up.
Ending EVP session.
I think that it's time to get some rest, so let's get packed up and get ready for 1,400 steps down.
Okay.
Barry believes that he heard 3 to 4 mysterious pieces of evidence, but obviously until we get back and can really go through it, we're not going to know what we found.
Hi, Brandy. Some of the EVPs that we caught initially in the triangulation seemed to indicate that there was activity happening up toward the back wall. We heard something on the recordings. So I certainly want to go back and try and analyze those further, put them through the program, see if we can draw them out any better.
Okay.
See what those were. Brandy, I have listened and I have re-listened and I went back again to make sure. And after I've cleared up some of the sounds, you can hear something very interesting.
Yeah, I absolutely hear that.
Hey, Don, how are you?
Fine. And you?
I see you very well.
I see you survived the night.
We did, absolutely, but I barely survived that walk.
I know what you mean.
So, should we head in?
Yeah, let me invite you inside.
Thank you. We made sure that this being Dracula's castle, that we modified our techniques to make sure that we covered every inch of the entire location. I think we definitely managed to do that.
Well, can't wait to see the results.
So this location proved perfect for a method we use called triangulation. We have 3 teams form a triangle. We had 1 team up here, 1 team here, and 1 team back here in this hallway. We do a simultaneous EVP session. People communicating back and forth, asking questions of any kind of spirit or anyone who we can't see here. At that point, we're listening to the recorders in real time and reviewing. Now, that works out great for us because if you think about it, now we can listen, and if, say, one of our investigators says, well, I heard some sound in this area, well, now we're going to focus and really make sure that this area is thoroughly covered. Barry is listening intently. It's kind of tough, obviously, given the wind up here. Yeah. But he hears 3 things. Now, obviously, given the conditions, we can't say what it is yet. We go home, Barry and Brandy go through everything. They did find that the noises that he heard during real-time analysis were actually sounds from the surrounding environment. Animal noises, rocks falling.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, what we found out was there was no paranormal activity at this location.
In a way, you know, I'm glad that now I have something really clear to tell to the people who'd keep asking if it's haunted or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Should we head for the hike back down?
Yeah, let's go right now.
All right. Safe travels.
You too. I'm somehow glad that that's no paranormal activity here. It's a good piece of information which I can use actually in telling people, okay, you might think it's haunted, but we had a professional team here. They said it's no paranormal activity.
Andy, you know how many people can say they investigated Dracula's castle?
I don't know the exact number, but I can probably guess not many.
Well, you can add 5 more to that list. Man, that was fun.
That was too cool.
It's about that time, man. Eastern Europe, Western Europe, New Zealand, South Africa. I can't wait to get home. I'm excited. That being said, I know for a fact, by the time I get home, Barry will have sent me an email about new equipment.
Of course.
Randy's going to be sending me new locations, and Dustin's going to be sending me really strange videos on the internet. Let's go find the rest and head for the airport.
Sounds good.
Time to go home.
Time to go home.